Bit Hit Dharmaka, welcome to the stream. Sometimes it's okay to engage in a little hedonism is basically what you're saying. Yeah, dude, look, I'm just saying, because like I look at shit more from like a balanced perspective, a matter of balance. If you want to get freaky sometimes, get high sometimes, party sometimes, I don't think that's a bad thing. I just feel like when you got someone who's doing it at the highest level, like when you got millions of dollars, because it's like, for instance, right? And again, just using myself as an example again. Let's say I got $5,000 to blow on a party. That means I could get me a stripper to show up. I could get me a bunch of weed, some drink. I get me like, you know, couple ounces of weed, some drinks, some food. Get the homies over. They can bring some little hoes from the hood and shit. And we can turn it up. And, you know, shit, I might end up fucking the stripper. Or he might end up fucking the stripper. You know, like, oh shit, like throw her a couple hundred, right, on top. And right, and she smoked, so she's smoking what we smoking, and she pop pills, and this dude, he got a bag of pills. That's not what I do. I'm just saying, like, that's shit that goes on, and nobody would look at me like I'm just this monster for doing that shit. But when you got millions of dollars, and that one stripper is 50 strippers, and that ounce of weed is pounds of weed, and that bag of pills is just pills. Like, you doing it on such a level where it does make it look worse, but you really just doing the same shit that, you know, people do on a regular level, a bachelor party type shit. Oh, I'm having a bachelor party. I'm turning up. I got a stripper. We getting high. We getting drunk. But when you got so much money and so much, you know, but with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if within that element of partying and indulgence and fun and hedonism, it also creates the opportunity for people to do legitimately bad things. Because there are people out there, you know, there are people out there that do date rape shit. There are people out there that, you know, again, just for instance, like sex trafficking, as far as like, oh, this person is a literal sex slave. Like, that's real shit. That's some real shit that goes on. But I'm just talking about like the gray area, because I feel like to a certain extent, a lot of what he was doing was probably consensual. Maybe not legal as far as the drugs or the prostitution aspect. But like I said, as people, how we judge each other, like, it's the law, and then it's what we give a fuck about. Too. You know, and I think most people who are looking at this don't really care about so much people engaging with prostitutes and stuff like that, or getting high. I think it's the other implications of what was going on, as far as like date rape and drugging people. You know, the gay rumors, like fucking the rappers and to get them deals, like using your power to like fuck people. Right. Like, I think that's the aspect of it that people are more tuned into. But I kind of feel like law enforcement are using sex trafficking as the excuse to kind of laser in on some of the more like specific details and events. But and again, I'm not trying to make it seem like he ain't do nothing. Diddy didn't do nothing. And look, I'll give you like another example. I saw this one guy said this, and I thought this was a very good example, a very good point. Why did they never take down Hugh Hefner over what he was doing? We all now think about it. We all talking about the Diddy parties. What about the fucking Playboy Mansion parties? What about the Hugh Hefner? Come on, bruh. Why did they never go after? I mean, at least as far as I know, let me show you guys real quick. it's well known, and we all know what Playboy is. Playboy is the big magazine that show, you know, scantily clad women, naked women, things like that, had articles and whatnot. Look at this. Look, Hugh Hefner was a fucking pimp. He was one of the biggest pimps in America. So, and the Playboy Mansion was always known for having parties, and they would have celebrities at those parties. Now, you know, you go into the Playboy Mansion that's full of bad bitches, pretty girls. You know somebody got some. Now, you know somebody got drugs. Somebody got Quaaludes. You see Bill Cosby in the corner, you know it's about to go down. You see Bill in the cut, it's about to go down. And so, and somebody else brought this point up though. Why did they never go after Hugh Hefner when you know there was like what were they doing at the fucking Playboy Mansion that they weren't doing at the Diddy parties? Now, of course, you know, not like I know because I wasn't at either of them, but when you just look at the basic outline of it, you can see the similarities. You have a top dog boss millionaire who running the operation, Hugh Hefner, P. Diddy. You have girls. Now, the only difference I would say is that the girl, well, again, it's like, I know all them girls won't just live at the mansion the whole time. So some of them had to be getting drove there and flown there and shit. I know they all won't just sitting there all the whole time. So you got girls there and you know there's going to be sex. You know there's going to be drugs and you got celebrities. You tell me that there wasn't sex and drugs at the Playboy parties? Like, is that what were you? Just a normal, I don't know if I say normal, but understandable set of circumstances where just because you're in that position, you attract people who are going to be willing to do those things for you, and then you just get close to them and you give them those opportunities. Just through that association. Combs then used force, threats of force, coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Now, the first part, as far as like forcing, coercion, I'm not with that. But the second part, that just sounds like a freak being a freak. And I'm not against motherfuckers being freaks. You know, so I'm like, whatever on that. But if he forced you to be in the fucking freak-off tape, that's another thing entirely. Freak-offs occur regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, damn, and often involve multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion. Oh my, yeah, I heard that. IV fluids? Like, dude, you had such an intense session of fucking and freaking off. You had to get hooked up to a fucking IV, bro. You had to get fluids who pumped into you. I mean, I've had some great FAP sessions. I've had some great goon and coon sessions in this room, but I've never needed to be like revitalized and right, hooked up to a machine to recover. Usually I just roll over and take a nap. But again, this is what I'm saying. Like, when you got that type of money, you can do that shit. Like, you can do you can take it to the next level. He just taking it to the look. If there was any coercion or force, harm done to people, I'm against that entirely. But let's take that and put it to the side for 1 minute and just appreciate Diddy's dedication to taking being a freak to the highest level. I've never heard of no shit like this. I've seen video. You ever seen like those extreme gang bangs where it's like one woman gets nutted in by like 100 dudes, or bukakes, goat guns, and all, right? I've seen shit like that, and I don't even think the girls needed any type of like medical treatment after the fact. Like we gotta take a moment to appreciate like the fact that Diddy took like freaky sex parties to like a level that we've never seen before, bruh. Like, you know how people break records and get in the Guinness Book, or like that's what Diddy is of the fucking freak off game, bruh. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking hotel rooms in advance with required freak-offs. I love how they keep calling it freak-offs. Supplies, including controlled substance, baby oil, lubricant. I thought about buying some lubricant today, actually. I need some. Extra linens and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage. To mitigate room, like, again, just the fucking visual of just what these motherfuckers was doing, bro. Like, we need a special team just to clean up after the fact, bro. We about to break some beds in half. Arranging for travel for victims, quote unquote victims. I gotta, again, who's the victim here? Were these paid prostitutes who suck and fuck for money knowingly, or are they slaves? Let's make that clear. Okay. Scheduling delivery of IV fluids. Oh man. In or about March 2024, and we've all heard of this, during searches of Combs residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Now, I know a lot of people have been making fun of this, the baby oil and lubricant, all right, I get, like, it make it seem so disgusting, but this is a millionaire. I'll give you an example, right? Like, I'm broke, but I got like 4 things of deodorant on my counter in my bathroom, right? As a broke person, I have 4. If I was a millionaire, I probably had like 50 put up somewhere, so I wouldn't have to keep buying them. I'm just saying, I think the 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant is more like I got the money to just have, like, this is my stash, because this is what I do, you know? Like, if you broke, you got an ounce of weed. If you got money, you got a pound or 2 or 3. I just feel like people been just giving him too much shit for the 1,000 bottles of baby oil shit. Like, it's funny. I get the comedic aspect of it. Don't get me wrong. But again, we're talking about a millionaire here. So he doing millionaire shit where it's like, yeah, like he not going on fucking Amazon and ordering a bottle of baby oil and lubricant for the week. Like, this motherfucker is buying a shipment. He's a millionaire. He's buying a fucking shipment of baby oil and lubricant. Like, if I had the money, yeah, dude, if I had the money like that, I probably would just go ahead and order about 100 things of, now not 1,000, because remember, he on a different level. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't need 1,000. But I can see myself getting like, you know, like I was on Temu today, and I seen like they got this lubricant with the anime girls up there. I was like, yo, I thought about buying it, but I had other, you know, obligations and shit. But if I had money, yeah, I would have bought about damn 10, 20 of them, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got the money, like, I don't want to keep buying this. I was like, let me get 20 of them anime girl lube. Let me get 20 of them anime girl lube. Can I bring it up? All right. I mean, I guess that's the skinny of it right there. Shit. Well, you know, the thing about the thing about Diddy, the thing about Diddy is that you know, there have been rumors surrounding him for years. I feel like the perception of Diddy in the world of hip hop has always been kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing, where I think that it's undeniable that he had a lot of success, power, and respect within the industry because of all the success of Bad Boy Records. But also, you know, he was an example of, you know, a successful hip hop label CEO that went beyond the limited field of just rap and found great success, you know, in things like apparel. You know, he had the dealings with Ciroc, and, you know, he was involved politically, socially. Remember the whole vote or die situation. He had the reality TV show. I mean, I feel like he kind of really, and I think you got to give him credit for this. In a lot of ways, Diddy paved the way as far as like how you could take this hip hop shit to higher levels beyond just music. Like when you look at something like a Rockefeller Records that was coming up probably like, you know, in like the late 90s, early 2000s and shit like that. You know, I feel like a lot of what they did was kind of like a few steps behind what Diddy was doing, if you think about it. And then what you see people trying to do now, emulating that. You know, because again, you had hip hop CEOs and bosses alongside or before Diddy, like Russell Simmons, Eazy-E with Ruthless Records, Suge Knight. But a lot of them, like Russell Simmons didn't. Well, I think Russell Simmons is another good example, right, of doing it right. But even he's got in his own trouble in recent years, and he was known as a partier too. But you look at someone like Eazy-E. You know, he basically, the party lifestyle got the better of him. And he died before he could take Ruthless Records to higher levels. You look at Suge Knight, where the street elements of his lifestyle got the better of him. And he was able to take it to those higher levels. You know, Rockefeller, kind of like, well, a lot of that had to do with the friction between Dame and Jay-Z. But the point is, like if you take away all the freak shit, Diddy did a lot in the industry and beyond rap. Like and I think for that, people had a lot of respect for his name. But unfortunately, there's always been that shadow or that cloud hanging over his head, because he was also known to be the type of person that would screw over his artists. You know, probably most famously, you know, Mace, but also Biggie. Some people feel like he didn't do Biggie right as far as like the business side of things. You look at a lot of artists who were involved with Bad Boy, and, you know, some would say it was the Bad Boy curse. A lot of them fell off or, you know, weren't able to maintain to a certain level of success. Despite the success they had musically, it didn't really translate into long-term financial success. And a lot of people attribute that to the deceit and the mishandling of their contracts and things like that by Diddy. They basically, like, Diddy was just, he was a shrewd, I mean, I guess shrewd ain't even a word. He's just, from all the rumors and how people describe him, like, he was an evil motherfucker when it came to business. Like, if you had any sort of weaknesses or chinks in your armor, he would fully exploit it and get the most out of you, and then, you know, drop you like a bad habit. He's just that type of motherfucker, almost like a Vince McMahon type. You know, Vince McMahon got a similar reputation where, you know, he'll use you up and toss you to the side. But, you know, and these type, and then you got like the sex rumors and whatnot. There's always been the rumors that he was gay and that he was fucking rappers and shit and all that. Like, that's always been there. There's always been like different like sexual related rumors to him and whatnot. And I don't know, I guess it's just kind of interesting because these things have always been there in the backdrop. But I guess so much of it was just like hearsay and talk that people didn't, like, it wasn't enough to bring him down. Diddy always managed to stay relevant because he was just always a gatekeeper. He had power. And if he wasn't relevant as far as like having the most, like the biggest artist, then he was at least engaging in successful business deals and things like that, and still had a lot of, you know, sway and pull in the industry and whatnot. But now it just seems like everything is kind of coming to a head, and then it's like, I don't know. It's like it's gotten to the point where too much truth has come out, and it's undeniable the type of person that he is. Like I say, some people might think I was defending him in certain areas, and it's only because some of these accusations are gray area shit. But I think there's enough out there to kind of prove without a doubt that he is definitely a scumbag. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopathic type of individual, and I'm pretty sure like if I had to bet my money on it, not like I was there at the fucking party, but you know, if I had to bet my money, I'd be damn certain that he did enough to warrant being locked up for sure. But you know, it's gonna be interesting seeing what comes out later on in this case. But